Getting started in about 10 minutes. If you have any stories, link them and I will take a look.
Dogs. A little scared.
I was here. I am here. Glad you could make it. I am therefore I was. Very deep and highly philosophical.
Oh, hi, hello, how you doing? My name is Waldo, and I'm here to feel the politics with you. Thanks for coming in. Hello, Mosedian, how you doing? Uh, I was chasing
There
the
he
dog
is.
around. There he is. It's true. He is here. Uh, I was chasing the dog around, so we might get a Bobo interruption here so soon. He's been nuts this morning, running back and forth, jumping around all over the place. So today is Saturday. Well, I've got a whole bunch of links to go over. I've got a whole bunch of news, politics things to look at, and we will go down that list, and we'll wait for World War III because that's the title that I put on there today. Couple of great, super fun, not at all terrifying news stories to talk about with the wars and whatnot. How's everybody doing? I'm good. I might be getting a cold, but germs are just a theory, and I don't believe in them. So, uh, if I get sick or have the sniffles or the runny noses, it's because of demons, tiny little demons that exist within my body, and I have to expel them. Have to expel the snotty demons because germs aren't real, and I don't believe in them. So, if I get sick over the next few days, we'll blame the devil. Way easier and way funner than worrying about washing your hands and stuff like that. So that is how I'm doing. Um, I think. No, Thomas today. He sent me a message, said he was going on a some sort of trip. He has an IRL. I don't have one of those, so I never miss a stream. But he will not be here today. If you were looking for him, if you were specifically here for Thomas, you should immediately add him on the Discord server and tell him that you are disappointed that he is not here.
Discord. https Discord GG Beignet Tridix 8.
Right.
Thomas stands rise up.
Right, he had a fan last week, and he is not here. So if you uh, were to tell him that on the Discord, it would make me laugh. He would feel severe guilt, and he would feel very bad about that. That you came here just for him, and he wasn't here. He would feel bad about that, and that would make me laugh. That would be very interesting to me. I would have a good old chuckle at his expense because it is funny to me when he suffers. I like it. It's how we do. Okay, so let's take a look at the news, the politics, and if you are here paying attention, if you want to talk about a certain thing, toss the link into chat. If you can't toss the link into chat, which sometimes happens, uh, toss it onto the Discord that I've just linked, and we will take a look. We'll field all these politics out together because politics is feelings and everything is political. So everything is feelings. Let's get the screen going. Window capture. Let's switch to here. And then we turn on that. We turn off game capture because I always leave it on. And then we go to, oh, we gotta bring this up. And we'll start in a very silly story about a climate conspiracy theorist said the government deliberately lit wildfires. He just pled guilty to starting 14 himself. Hooray. This is fantastic. I love this. This is
OMG, this is a wild one.
yeah, I do really like this one. Uh, as usual, the people who complain the loudest are the people who are doing the things. This is a feeling I get from Republican type people that when they complain really loudly about a thing, they are the thing, or they're really close to the thing, and they know how real the thing is. So this climate conspiracy theorist. Uh,
WTF is a climate conspiracy theorist.
what is a climate conspiracy theorist? Poker face you ask. It is when you say that the climate isn't the climate change isn't real and it's put together by the globalists folks, the climate hoax. Donald Trump kind of is one. It's Chinese hoax. And if you think that climate change isn't real and you're being robbed somehow, that the government charges you to take care of climate change, but they're just stealing from you. There's a lot of different conspiracy theories about the climate. This Canadian man who posted conspiracy theories on social media claiming the government was deliberately starting wildfires. The government was deliberately starting wildfires so that they could charge him, so they could tax him and take his wealth. Has pled guilty to starting 14 blazes. He started 14 blazes that forced hundreds of people from their homes. Brian Perret, he's French from Quebec. Brian Perret from
Look, he'll
Quebec.
prove it.
Yeah, it was so obvious that the government was doing it that he had to go and do it. 13 has admitted to 13 counts of arson and one count of arson with a disregard for human life. Youch. Relating to events between May and September last year. May, June, July, August, September. That's like 5 months. Dude started like 14 fires in 5 months. That's like a every weekend kind of thing. He goes out and he starts another fire so that he can point to it and scream about how bad the government is. Caused the evacuation of 400 people. The largest fire Pear admitted to starting destroyed more than 870 hectares. Hectares. That's a lot of trees. Mr. Pear does not remember all of the fires he could have started. He doesn't remember them all. So we have counted currently 14 fires and 14 counts of crimes. Okay, it's possible there are more, but we do not have evidence of that. He did it so often he lost count. He's like, yeah, I'm just starting fires left and right, man. I don't remember how many fires I started. You don't remember what you had for breakfast 7 weeks ago. You don't. Um, let's see. Police officers became interested in Pear after he was spotted in the area of several fires. They also found multiple social media posts by Pear accusing the Canadian government of purposely igniting fires to persuade people to believe in climate change. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. You just turned a frog gay. Are you happy about that? Are you proud of what you've just done? You just turned a frog gay. All your fault. uh, let's see. Also, according to the police evidence, the accused posted a lot of conspiracy theories about the fires and the government's involvement in possibly setting those fires. So he starts a fire, he tells everybody on social media that the government did it, and it's all their fault. This is good stuff. Actually, it's bad stuff, but it's fun to laugh at. It's fun to point at. Let's see. North Dakota, smoke of the fires poured southward, choking cities in the United States and making it as far east as Europe. Yeah, I remember all the photos. I think this was what back when uh, Diablo ad covered in
It's
smoke.
juicy stuff.
think this is what happened. Yeah, the Diablo was an ad. They had this big old ad, but that's all smoke in the background. So it was very fun. It was very juicy. It was very interesting. We all had a very good time laughing about the Diablo ad with the smoke in the background. And now we know that it is just a sad Canadian guy. I don't think he has anything else. It's just uh, I get that feeling from Alex Jones and some conspiracy theorists and stuff like that in the past. In when they complain about the thing, when they scream about how terrible the thing is, they're probably involved with the thing. You know, uh, it is a dangerous game being a conspiracy theorist. I was one for a very long time, but then I got better. Honestly, uh, kind of funny, but kind of sad. Yeah, true, sure is. So, let's keep on going with the rest of the news. Oh, speaking on this topic, do like this thing. This is something the Associated Press does. This is the not real news, a look at what didn't happen this week. So, the Associated Press puts out this cool little thing every week that's things that didn't happen that you might have heard happened. Uh, so, it's a roundup of some of the most popular but completely untrue stories from this week. Uh, Here's the story. A deadly contagion known as, okay, I gotta put on the voice. A deadly contagion known as Disease X is emerging and under discussion at the World Economic Forum 2024 annual meeting in Davos, Switzerland. If you're a conspiracy theorist, you know about Davos. Conspiracy theorists talk about Davos a lot. They do really think that this is a thing. Um, Davos is where a lot of rich people meet, and because they meet there and discuss plans for the future, and then sometimes those future predictions come true. It's their job, um, is to predict what's about to happen. And sometimes it happens, and then we get to say that they planned it. Not quite how it works, but the facts are disease X is not real. It's a name given to the hypothetical pathogen that is being used to help plan for future health crises. So they're planning, making ideas and thoughts and plans about what will happen in the future. So they just call it disease X. And from the crazies on the internet, disease X is a mystery contagion, and the World Economic Forum is having a meeting about it today. Apparently, it could have 20 times more fatalities than COVID. Remember, they are always telling us what's coming. This is another conspiracy thing that I really do see often. They always tell us what's coming. This is the rationale an irrational person uses. Hey, we got another follower. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. You turned a frog gay, and it's all your fault. What sides do you support in the current wars? We will get to that soon, Militant Pagan. We are going to get to that very soon. We got a couple of other small little stories to get to, and then we will talk about them because that's part of the headline, the title of this one, Waiting on World War III. So Disease X is not an actual illness. It's just the WHO introduced the concept as part of its 2018 list of diseases pose the greatest uh, public health risk. So just an idea, just a staging. It's just a practice exercise on what happens if things go wrong, which is a good idea, but it always turns out crazies find out about it and then scream about it. What else didn't happen this week? A New York City high school was shut down to house migrants who entered the U.S. illegally. Oh, I didn't do the voice. Sorry. Yo, what's the news? The news is not real. So here we go. Here's the claim. A New York high school was shut down to house migrants who entered the U.S. illegally. Very scary, very spooky. We're very worried about it, except that it didn't really happen. The news that the migrants living in the temporary shelter at Floyd Bennett Field, a former airport, could wait out the storm and James Madison High School led to a false claim on social media that the move would be long term. 2,000 migrants housed in tents in the Brooklyn shelter were moved temporarily to the high school through Midwood neighborhood in the evening of January 9th. All the migrants had left the school and early the next morning. So they came there, they hid from the storm, then they left. So if somebody says that they will move there forever and cancel the school, it's not quite true. So what else is not true? Starbucks has begun selling a watermelon mug to signal its support for Palestinians amid the Israel-Hamas war and appease those boycotting the chain. Not quite true. The mug was part of Starbucks' UK summer collection, which launched in May of 23, months before the conflict broke out. So, watermelons are apparently like a new super important symbol for supporting Israel. So if you have a watermelon, uh, that's what it is. Uh, uh, Palestine. So the watermelon. Why is this a thing? Because those are the colors of the Israeli flag. See, the flag here is pink and green and white and black. There was some people who said you couldn't. There was some uh, social media rules and stuff like that where you couldn't post a flag, and if you post a flag, you get in trouble. So instead of posting the flag, they started posting the watermelon, which has all the same colors: the white, the green, the pink, and the black. So conspiracy theorists find symbolism everywhere. Uh, they are kind, yeah. Watermelon's pink, where the flag is more a red color, I guess. Yeah, that's red and pink, so it's close enough. But in a way to dodge the symbol, the censorship, a way to avoid censorship, they just started using the watermelon symbol. So that's a thing. But conspiracy theorists, everybody really wants a lot of, including leftists, really want Starbucks to be supporting one side or the other, and then you boycott or support them depending on how you feel. If you feel like you should be on Palestine's side, you will find evidence that Starbucks, if you like them, if you feel like you like Starbucks, you'll put them on the side that you're on. If you feel like Starbucks is bad and awful, you'll put them on the side that you're not on. It's very strange, uh, but that is how feelings work. That's politics, man. You feel a certain way, and then what you do is assign those feelings to the people you like and assign the opposite feelings to the people you don't like, whether it's real or not. Uh, that's what happens to lots and lots of people, and it causes some very weird stuff to happen. So I do like this little thing that the AP does every week, and they put out the stories that weren't real. Um, So, if you're watching, if you're paying attention, please feel free to toss any links into chat of stories that you want to talk about. Up next, we've got Biden, AOC, and then all the Israel war and all the fun stuff. And then we'll have a really awful video of, I've heard it was awful, of Kamala Harris talking about Israel, and I don't know what she said. Haven't watched it yet. We'll watch it together. We'll see how she did. We'll see how she feels. Uh, and let's see, what else have we got? We've got very exciting Hunter Biden. Okay, Biden administration to forgive 4.9 billion in student debt for 73,600 borrowers. I think this is a good thing. 4.9 billion. If so, that's money that people don't have to give to the government. It's kind of a it's if you think about it in a certain way, it's a tax cut. This is 4.9 billion that isn't going to the government. Kind of a tax cut. If a Republican cut taxes by 4.9 billion, they'd be screaming it from the rafters, and you'd be hearing about it for decades. But Joe Biden doesn't. Nobody even talks about it. Nobody cares. Nobody notices. Nobody even hears it. This is on the back page of CNBC. Nobody's talking about this. Nobody's thinking about it, and even the Republicans are hating on it because they want people to have less money. I don't understand why you would be against this. The Biden administration announced Friday that it would forgive 4.9 billion in student debt from 73,000 people. That's a huge number. Why do they have so much debt? It's terrible. The relief is a result of the U.S. Department of Education's fixes on the income-driven repayment plans and public service loan forgiveness program. So these are government programs. The U.S. Department of Education and the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Uh, it's not a tax cut for the ultra wealthy, just somewhat okay financially. Yeah, it's not a tax cut for the wealthy. It is a tax cut for regular people. Regular people didn't pay off all their uh, student loans immediately, so they don't. So they keep paying into the government. They keep paying. They keep paying. They keep paying, and he has lowered the amount that those people have to pay. If you sell that the way Republicans sell tax cuts, it sounds great. I don't know why Democrats are so bad at explaining things. Why are they so bad at talking about how cool they are? They did a cool thing, and they're just going to ignore it, and they're never going to talk about it, and they're going to move on, and then Donald Trump's going to make up something stupid about them and say that this is stealing money from babies, and they're just going to let it fly. It's like the right wing gets to make all the framing, and then the Dems have to like fight the framing. I don't know why you don't just frame it yourself. Hey, we saved the American people $4.9 billion. Great. Good job. Vote for us. That's how they should be doing it. But they can't because I don't know why. I don't know why Dems are so bad at explaining things and talking about good things. But since we're on the subject, Hunter Biden agrees to private deposition with House Republicans. Hunter Biden agrees to private deposition with House Republicans. So this is what he was avoiding for a while, uh, because we don't trust them in a private deposition. If if it were the other way around, if Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and AOC put together a private deposition to ask Hunter Biden questions, and then you never got to see what they asked, and you never got to see the answers. All you got was those three people who would come out to a camera and tell you what happened in this private deposition. Republicans wouldn't trust that. I wouldn't trust it. Nobody would trust the Dems asking Hunter Biden softball questions and then telling us what the answers were. Nobody would trust it. And the Republicans would scream about it. They would go on Fox News, talk about how it's not real, talk about how it was a kangaroo court and a sham of an investigation. But when they do it, I don't trust them either. If you put MTG and Comer into a room to private deposition Hunter Biden, they're going to come out telling us that he assassinated Abraham Lincoln. He did. You didn't know that? Didn't you hear? I think MTG, Maytag, will leave this private deposition, find the very first camera she can, regardless of who it belongs to. She will find the very first camera she can and tell you that Hunter Biden assassinated Abraham Lincoln. He did it. And I don't trust her. I don't believe her. I don't uh, believe the things that she is saying. So that's why I don't. That's why he didn't want to do a private deposition. That's why I don't think he should do it. But they've come to an agreement. His lawyers will be in there, and I think that's what's going to happen. And and the lie is going to get out first. So what's going to happen is this private deposition is going to happen next month, I believe. Then she's still going to run. She's going to tell us all the terrible things he did, and she's going to show us some more pictures of his dick, because that's what she does. Her Maytag and Hunter Biden are in a weird. They have some weird kink stuff going on between them. Uh, she shows pictures of his dick everywhere, and really loves showing pictures of his junk. What's the chance? Unless mankind surrenders the fact that he lives on a finite planet and they must live in balance with all of the planet and animal life on the planet, there will never be true happiness. That's a nice opinion you have there. Thank you for sharing it. So, yeah, they have a weird kink dynamic. He enjoys humiliating her. She enjoys trying to humiliate him, but then it just humiliates her, and she's got a humiliation kink kind of thing going on. It's very strange. I don't like that they're working their kinks out in public in the halls of Congress. This is very not okay. Kind of a waste of time. Keep it behind closed doors, you two. What do we got? He is. But what is she going to do? Okay, sorry, I got distracted. She is going to tell us a whole bunch of untrue things if she's involved in this private deposition, and she's going to leak whatever she thinks makes him look bad. She makes him look cool as fuck. I want to be Hunter Biden. I know, right? Like, I couldn't appreciate him anymore. He apparently lives a life of sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and it's great. Uh, and then she complains and talks about how terrible that is, while she really, really, really wants to live that same life with him. Um, if she got invited to a Hunter Biden throne party, she would go. Oh, Maytag would be there immediately, and she would be doing that fake Karen kind of thing. Um, she would be complaining. She would say, "Oh, this is terrible. This is horrible." Hunter Biden invites her to a party, and then she would say, "Oh, this is terrible. I hate it. This is awful. We're never going to go there." And but she would show up just so she could make sure that it's on the up and up and make sure that nothing goes wrong. Just like my Shorts feed on YouTube is filled with naked ladies, because I just have to make sure they're okay. You understand? My Shorts feed on YouTube is just filled with scantily clad women. And I went there intentionally because I was like, ma'am, are you okay? You don't have any clothes on. I needed to check on this. I needed to find out whether or not she was okay. And so then I found out. And now the algorithm just gives me naked ladies all the time. And it is severely disturbing. And I'm very upset by this. I'm very unhappy with my shorts feed being filled with naked ladies. It's terrible. Uh, there needs to be three things that give us the best chances of breakthrough reduced population. Do nonsense. Concentrate half of the population in improving renewables and reusable, sustaining living environment. That's a nice idea, but don't kill people to get there. Work long term with very high return energy solution and pray. No, let's not pray, boss. Let's not pray. Without that, we're never going to get outside our solar system, at least not a healthy proportion. Very thank you for your opinions. I appreciate it. Gamer Jam. Uh, so, what is? I mean, pray if you want. I mean, just don't spend any time doing that instead of something else. Don't let it distract you from doing useful things. So he is going to do the private deposition next month. We'll find out kind of what's in it. The lie that the Republicans will tell about this private deposition will get out first. That will be the first thing you hear is Republican lies. The moment it's over, you will get all of the Republican lies immediately. And come on, I'm being attacked from underneath here. Oh, there he is. He just comes and he bites my toes. Here I am trying to do a stream, and you bite me. Why do you bite my toes? This is Bobo the baby bark boy. He interrupts the stream a lot. If you hear him barking in the background, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to bite me? Why would you bite me? Oh, all right. Say hello to the people, Bobo. He does. He just runs up and he just starts biting my toes, biting my feet. And then I try and grab him and bring him up here, and he just starts biting me again. Okay. Go run. Go. He's gone. See how fast he goes? Yeah. Okay. Maybe he won't come back. Or maybe he will. Um, yes, the lie from the Republicans will get out first. That's the first thing you're going to hear. All the lies. Maytag's going to scream all the lies in the first camera she finds, and then we'll have to backtrack from there to reality. So at 8 a.m., she'll scream the lies. At 8:05, someone will find out what's actually been said. At 8:10, someone will repost all of the lies that she has posted, and then we'll have to see those, and they'll have 98 headlines about all the lies that she told. And then the next day, probably, we'll get some information about what actually happened. And maybe, yeah, what's that old stupid saying about the lie that travels around the world while the truth is still getting its shoes on? That's going to happen. And Republicans have built their entire political structure off of that idea that the lie gets around the world before the truth gets its shoes on. They have an entire political party based on that, and it's great. And that's what Twitter does. They get that juicy, exciting lie as fast as possible. Let's see. Okay, so this AOC, the GOP would rather sacrifice child labor laws than allow illegal immigration. Then allow legal immigration. Yeah, and I think this is true. We got into this a little bit last week with Thomas and a couple of the chatters talking about immigration and things like that. Republicans would rather roll back child labor laws than allow immigrants into the country. And she's correct. This has been going on for a few months now, that places like Alabama and Arkansas, I think, have lowered the age requirements of their people to get jobs and stuff like that. So they are absolutely, they would rather teenagers abandon school and do work rather than letting immigrants do the work. Because they've been tricked, they've been lied to, they've been told that immigrants are dangerous and scary and they're going to come and steal your job. Well, if they don't do the job, then children are going to have to do the jobs. Immigration, legal and illegal, helps our economy, makes us better, improves our economy. I don't know about the GOP, but Republicans, I don't know about the GOP, but Republicans I know would be into it. The GOP is the Republicans. They're the same people. It's just two different names for the same things. Um, so yeah, they want more Americans and more American babies, but they refuse immigration because they've been told, they've been taught, they've been trained to hate it. Let's see what she had to say. Historically, the United States has economically outperformed other countries in part due to our welcoming of immigrants. True statement. Republicans would like you to believe that they support legal immigration, but today they launched an attack on legal immigration pathways. They sure do. They even proper legal immigration they hate on. They hate on the what's that thing called where you're asylum seeking. They hate on asylum seekers. They hate on the amendment that makes people born in America a citizen. They want to repeal that. They dislike chain migration, and they call them anchor babies. Like they dislike all the actual legal ways to become a citizen. A little strife in life is healthy. Okay, uh, they dislike the actual ways that you're supposed to do things because they just don't like these people. They just don't like the people. They feel like they don't like them, and that informs every bit of their politics because politics is feeling. Always has been, always will be. Don't let people convince you that politics is based on fact. No, it's not. Never has been. Let's see. Screen. Okay. In the clip from March, she has another quote here. Many of these Republican legislators would rather roll back child labor laws and put 11 and 13-year-olds back in the workplace than allow immigrants into their community and do what they've always done. What they've always done. This is the important bit right here. Our entire country was built by immigrants. The entire thing. It was built first by slavery, and then people coming over here, and then the Chinese people built the railroads, and then all the immigrants that do all the hard work for very little money so that they can be here and live here in this good place. It's obvious that they've always done this. And if you don't think that they've always done that, it's because the right-wing media has lied to you. Zoviak, hi, how you doing? Welcome in. Post any links. We're talking about the news and the politics, and we're about to get into the bad stuff. Oh yeah, fun stuff. All of the scary World War III stuff. That is next. What do we got? We've got an Israel airstrike on the Syrian capital killed at least 5 Iranian advisors. So, oops, put it on the screen, dummy. An Israel airstrike on the Syrian capital killed at least 5 Iranian advisors, officials say. That's bad. That sucks. I don't want to hear that. This is not going to end well. In German centrist who wants to leave his bubble and figure out how other people think in actual world politics, welcome to the stream, Zoviak. I appreciate you being here. On occasion, I will have my on occasion we'll have my right-wing friend Thomas on, and he will give us a right-wing American position and stuff like that. And then I'm definitely an American leftist. Illegal immigration. Immigrants are easier to abuse. It's true. They are easier to abuse. They will work harder for less money, which is good from a business standpoint. If you own a business, if you're running a business, you want the person who will work the hardest for the least amount of money. That's capitalism. That's profit. That's how you make the most. And the immigrants don't have don't have things to protect them. They don't have ways to avoid being abused or what's that other word? Harassed and stuff like that, and exploited. They don't have ways to avoid the exploitation. If my job started exploiting me, I'd go and I'd tell somebody, and then they'd make it stop, or I'd get to sue them. It's a whole thing, but they don't have that. They don't have that privilege. It is a privilege that I get to do that. DJ Vermin, hi, how you doing? Come on in. Tell us how you're feeling about the politics. Let's keep going with this one. So yeah, bad news. An Israeli strike on the Syrian capital on Saturday destroyed a building used by the Iranian Parliamentary Revolutionary Guard, killing at least 5 Iranians, Syrians, and Iranian state media reported. That's bad. We don't like that. The Syrian army said that the building in the tightly guarded western Damascus neighborhood uh, was entirely destroyed, adding that the Israel Air Force fired the missiles while flying over Syria's occupied Golan Heights. The Israel military did not comment. See, this is bad because I don't like that Israel is doing a genocide to the Palestinian people. This is bad. The Palestinian people, also bad. Not the Palestinian people, but the Hamas, also bad. Hamas did a 9/11. Israel's doing a genocide. Both sides can suck. Both sides can be bad. What I don't think is a good idea is for Israel to completely ethnically cleanse that entire place. You told about your right wing friend. Do you also have right wing opinions? Only to figure out where I am actually. I don't. I'm about as far left as you can get in America, while still functioning. Um, I'm about as far left as you can get while functioning properly. If you go any further left, you start to be incapable of functioning within the society that we exist in, uh, or you're just an online Twitter leftist, which gets real weird. You start to get into the horseshoe theory, where the so far on the left that you're all actually like a tanky and starting to connect to the right again. Militant Pagan is pro-Palestine and pro-Russia. That's a weird combination to have. Um, I think the Palestinian people should be taken care of. They should have a place to live. That would be nice. That's why you often hear people talk about the two-state solution. There's an Israeli state and a Palestinian state, and the two don't touch each other. Leave them alone. Stop attacking each other. But the land that those Israelis are living on came from the Palestinians in the 40s. The British, the America and Britain teamed up, gave the people, the Jewish survivors from the Holocaust, a place, and that place was taken from someone else. This is bad. That the people who got the land taken from them are upset about that. Some of them are still alive, not many, but or their parents knew this was happening, and they have been doing terrorism to get that land back. Also not good. Uh, Not good to steal land from people, and it's not good to do terrorism to get that land back. Also unacceptable. So everybody's done bad things here. The Muslims hate the Jews, and the Jews hate the Muslims. Exactly. There's no winner in this sentence, man. This sentence is correct, and there's no winning. Neither side can be completely free from blame or guilt or finger pointing. I can point at things that the Israel has done wrong, and I can point to the things the Palestinian people have done wrong. There is no right answer here. Well, I mean, there's some solutions that you could kind of come up with, like a two-state solution where you draw borders and put these people in them and then say, do not cross these borders. But they will then keep pushing on each other. And one side is blatantly more powerful than the other. The Israeli side is more powerful than the Palestinian side, which is why they have the Iron Dome from Americans, and they have American money, and they have American arms, and they have American training, and they have American people go over there and do their birthright thing, which is really complicated and really weird, and I don't think we should be promoting such a thing. But they, and then to fight, how do you fight the person with all the money and all the power and all the missiles? Terrorism. That's how it's done. It's what happened in Afghanistan. It's what happened in Iraq. It's what happened in Vietnam. Man, with the Americans came in with giant weapons and infrastructure and all kinds of stuff. And what did they fight against? They fought against people hopping out of the trees, taking a few shots, and then disappearing into the trees. That's what keeps happening. We should quit doing it. But that is its own thing. But now it's only getting worse, because here we go with Israel attacking and killing Iranian people in Syria. This is not good. This is bad. This is going to lead to other people jumping in and getting involved. Now everybody else has to get involved. It's important to point out that the politicians, not the people, are pushing this war. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I poker face. The politicians want what they want, and they want their goals, and they need to be reelected, and so they have to do the things that they want for the reasons that they claim, and it's always disingenuous. America wants to have some power in the Middle East, and that's the reason they invest in Israel. Yes, absolutely true. It is our base. Um, I could be persuaded to accept the idea that they should live there if they had gotten the land better. I know I wasn't around in the 40s, as old as I might look. I wasn't around in the 40s, uh, so I wasn't available. They didn't ask me for my opinion before they did it. So we have to live with what happened in the past. We can't change what happened in the past, so we have to deal with it. And the best way for us to deal with it, I think, is to create solid borders, two-state solution, and start trading with the Palestinian people. Uh, but that won't happen if Israel is striking at Iranians. And this is not a good good idea. A few hours later, an Israeli drone strike on a car near the southern Lebanese port city of Tyre killed 2 Hezbollah members. Okay, so they're killing Hezbollah members, which isn't a surprise. Hezbollah and Syria, I think, are allies, so that's no surprise there. But they're doing it in other people's countries, which will lead to problems. If Israel killed Iranians and Iran wants to do something about it, they'll attack Israel, and then we have to protect them because they're our ally. Iran could have been our ally. That's what irritates me the most about it. There are only two options really in this risk board, this game, this board game that is global politics. Enemies and friends, and allies and enemies. That's really all there is. There are two big economical players on the board, us, the Americas, and all of our allies, and then the Russian-Chinese alliance, And Iran was more friendly with Russia and China until we tried. Oh, damn it. Barack Obama and John Kerry put together a bunch of diplomacy. It was called the Iran deal. Donald Trump complains about it all the time. Fox News screams about it. But it was a good deal. It was diplomacy. The Iran deal was a good idea. It was filled with diplomacy. Iran got some stuff. We got some stuff. Nobody got everything they wanted, and we met in the middle, and we were being decent towards them. That's how you avoid war. Diplomacy is the only way to avoid war. And diplomacy has a lot to do with markets and economic issues. So we could have stuck to that deal if we had not voted in Donald Trump and he wasn't an absolute buffoon and a moron. He could have kept that deal. He could have said, "Oh, you know what? This Iran deal I didn't agree with it, but we have to stick with it, and we have to do what the government before me said we should do." But no, Donald Trump blew it up because he's an idiot. Blowing up that deal means that our diplomacy cannot be trusted and will shift every 4 years. Our diplomacy will shift every 4 years. That's not okay. That makes it very difficult to come up with ideas. That makes it very difficult to work with us. And because because we blew up that deal, they no longer have a reason to be our ally, which leads to the Houthis. They support those Houthis. This is not good. Germany's helping Israel because it was written in our Constitution after World War II. We promised to defend Jews and help build a peaceful community. Uh, Vincento, correct. Moron. Yeah, and that's an interesting. I think that builds a peaceful community. Building up a peaceful community is a good idea. I love the idea. Do it with your enemies. It's really easy for me to get along with Shinzento because I know him and he agrees with me. But okay, yeah, it sure did. My headphones died because I hadn't played any audio through them. Uh, Sorry about that. The headphones turned off because I hadn't played any audio through them in such a long time. Uh, Wonder how far I got in that. You can't build bridges with your enemies. I mean, you have to build bridges towards your enemies. Milton Pagan is now a follower. You turned a frog gay. Congratulations. Are you happy about what you've done? The choices that you've made, you just turned a frog gay. I hope you're happy. I hope you're proud of yourself. Uh, so, um, you have to build bridges towards your enemies, not your friends. It's easy to build a bridge towards your friend. They agree with you. They want that bridge. They want to get friendly with you. If we had built, if we had kept the Iran deal, if Donald Trump had not blown it up, had not destroyed it, we would be closer to being allies with Iran. And if we had been closer to being allies with Iran, we could have asked them, hey, listen, are you paying these Houthis to bomb us? Are you providing arms to the Houthis who are now shooting and doing piracy? Stop it. Don't do that. If Shinzento or Zoviak, if you guys were my friends and you were supporting and giving money to the Houthis, I could be like, hey, but don't do that. Could you stop, please? And if you didn't stop, then we can start cutting ties and it would harm you economically. If the Houthis, if the Iranians were damaged by their choices, you have recourse. You could try to stop them. You could convince them to not do things that are bad. I'm being attacked again. Look at this little goober. Can you hear him? There he is. Come here. Okay. He's just a wild animal today. Just running around like crazy. Distracting me, barking at everything. Here I am trying to talk about the important news with you guys, and my toes are being bitten. Live streaming wasn't hard enough. Point number understanding is this. Think our no enemies. We are all humans. Every opinion grows in the actual circumstances. Also, extremism comes from fear about the future or existential crisis. Yeah, we have to help those people and teach them not to fight them. Yes, absolutely correct. I agree. Make friends, not enemies. You have two choices, diplomacy or war. That's it. There is no, I can't think of a third option. There's a stalemate where you're not doing either one, but that's just kind of a holding still until the next one of those two breaks out. Either you become diplomatic with the people or the other countries, or you go to war with them. Politicians, they are the people's enemy. Most politicians are self-serving, obviously, and there are lots of bad ones. Um, and I think the further right they go, the worse they get. That's just my opinion. As a leftist, if you want world peace, if you want democracy, if you want people agreeing with each other, if you want diplomacy, move left. Uh, and and the left has issues as well, but generally they're not the world-ending war kinds. Donald, what's his name? Joe Biden, I forgot his name, is not doing a great job on this issue right now, but that's because he's not far enough left. I'm much further than left than Joe Biden is, and he is doing not a good job here. He's not done a good job with Israel. He's not done a good job with Iran. He has not done a good job because he's not far enough left. More diplomacy. Why does he not do more diplomacy? Because the Republicans call him weak. He should frame it properly. He lets the Republicans frame it the way they want to. Again, if when Joe Biden does something good, he doesn't talk about it, he doesn't plan it, he doesn't let everybody know. He just waits patiently for the right wing to scream about how terrible it is. He waits for Donald Trump to insult the good thing he did and then argue with that uh, insult. I don't know why he doesn't get in front of the cameras and then explain what's happening and why. Uh, but even his Israel stances are not that good. I don't think that he's done a good job on this, and that's because he wants to convince the middle. He wants to convince the people in the center that he's a tough guy. That's what Joe Biden wants. He wants to convince the people in the center that he's a tough guy and he's not going to take any shit. Let's see. Biden and Netanyahu have finally talked, but their visions still clash for ending Israel-Hamas war. Joe Biden needs to kick him in the ass. He does. Joe Biden needs to kick Netanyahu in the ass. Netanyahu only exists because we let him. I know that sounds crazy, and I know that doesn't sound good, but Israel doesn't have anything that the United States hasn't given them. We're kind of in charge. But Joe Biden is terrified to say that sentence. He's terrified to talk about how everything they have we gave them. Because then he'll be called an anti-Semite. He will. If they're honestly, Israel is the child of America, and they're just running wild. You've got to discipline your children sometimes. We have created this thing. We made it from nothing. We took resources from somewhere else, and we created a thing. And now it's running wild. Discipline them. Don't let them run wild. It's very complicated, very difficult. Uh, yeah, that they're running wild. They're doing a bad job. We need to spank them a little bit. Be like, hey, listen, you cannot do this thing. Bad parenting. Yes, we are doing bad parenting with Israel right now. We are, and it's what we're doing. They have uh, they're doing a bad job on this. They're doing ethnic cleansing. That's the word I was thinking about. Ethnic cleansing. They have set a border, and they said if you are Palestinian ethnicity, we do not want you here. And they're bombing the shit out of them. telling them to move, to leave their homes behind, and then bombing the shit out of that shit. And it will not end until all the Palestinians are gone or dead, until they're outside of that boundary or they are all dead. That is how this will end. It's the only way that it can, and we are not doing a good job parenting these people right now. And because we're terrified of being called an anti-Semite, because we're terrified of what actually happened during World War II to the Jews, which was an atrocity, which was an actual Holocaust. That doesn't mean you get to do your own Holocaust later. If you survived the Jewish Holocaust, doesn't mean you get a free ticket to do a Holocaust later. And that is a difficult thing to explain. It's a difficult thing to parse because it is so much nuanced. Which take on the Hamas and the other Palestinian militias. Hamas is bad. They're doing a bad thing. They're doing terrorism, and I don't like terrorism. I would rather they did things properly. I know it's very difficult to do when Israel controls how much food and water and fuel and electricity you get. But it is not a surprise. Everything that Hamas does and has done is not a surprise. I'm not even sure if Israel is using the U.S. or it's the other way around. What do you think? No, absolutely. Israel is our child. Yeah. I mean, children get all of their resources, all of their money, all of their stuff from their parent. So if a child who has no ability to get their own stuff goes and does something stupid, it's kind of the parent's fault. Did you give him that thing? Well, yeah. And then they did something stupid with it? Yeah, well, kind of your fault. You can control that. You can have something to do with that. Um, by the way, I'm slightly concerned about the political situation in Germany. Actually, financial crisis because the Ukraine war. People fear the future. It's because we have some corrupt politicians, right, extremists, and coming back. They already have a lead in 3 states government. So yeah, right wing extremists do use things that are going wrong to push their own agenda, to push themselves forward. I don't know too much about Germany's uh, uh, political stuff. I am an American. I pay attention to the American media mostly, so I don't know exactly what's going on in there. That's not good. But if there is turmoil, the right will use it to move up. The chaos is a ladder. So if there is chaos, the right wing people will climb that ladder to benefit themselves, to power themselves, to move up and get more resources, get more people, get more important stuff. Uh, okay, yeah. When those things come up, I'll definitely lean on you. Are the Republicans doing it right now? Absolutely, they're doing that. They, if there isn't even any chaos, they'll invent some. Look at all the Hunter Biden stuff. They scream about him so that they can get more votes. Marjorie Taylor Greene sees a conspiracy theory she likes, and then just promotes it on social media, promotes it on YouTube, goes on Twitter, talks about how important and terrible and awful they are, and then she gets elected. Maytag, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, is a conspiracy theorist who uses conspiracy to empower herself. She she saw some chaos, she sowed chaos, she used that chaos to empower herself and move up the ladder. Uh, Lauren Boebert, she's prettier. It's true. Um, and she's far friskier. I mean, she's giving out HJs in the theaters, uh, a little bit easier too. So that's good news. MTG sees a dick pic she likes and waves it around in hearings. Exactly, and she uses that chaos to become more infamous, more famous, more important, and then she raises up the ladder. She rises up the ladder. She gets more and more powerful. Uh, I know how the right-wing extremists work, but I have a feeling nobody else here sees this. It looks like the 1930s, slightly before the Nazis got power. Yeah, it's true. That could be that's happening in America right now, boss. That is kind of what's happening. And I'm glad you brought this up because that's the next couple of stories. Look at these things. Let's close this story. Let's move on to the next thing. The um, far right extremism is thriving in rural areas. Here's what it looks like in upstate New York. So, hard right people are all over the place. They're popping up left and right. They are everywhere. And it's getting worse. Uh, there's a little wine shop in downtown Ballston Spa, New York, where the rainbow colored bottles are lining the shop's front window. So, These guys chased a bunch of gay people out of their business. Um, Jess Rich noticed a group of masked men in the street. As soon as I saw them, I ran out the door, said Rich, who is openly queer and sees her shop as a safe and welcoming space for other queer people. The men in the street were wearing black and yellow face coverings and T-shirts, identifying themselves as members of the Proud Boys, a violent far-right extremist group. The yellow truck drove alongside the group, blasting the provocative country song "Try That in a Small Town." If you haven't seen that song, you shouldn't listen to it. It's just hatred for people that aren't like you. Um, so these guys chased law-abiding citizens out of their places and threatened them with violence. Get the fuck out of my town, Rich yelled at the group. You are disgusting and should be ashamed of yourselves. The men responded with homophobic slurs. So this is happening in small towns, and it's happening everywhere. It's happening a lot, and it is not a good thing. The whole world is getting more right. I thought, especially we Germans had learned about this. That's the thing is that when things are scary, people tend to go to the right. I mean, it's a pendulum kind of swinging thing. So hopefully we can see that the pendulum is swinging to the right. We can tell everybody, hey, don't let it swing too far. Here's how you should actually act. Here's how things should be, and we can drag it back to the left. That's we can put the car back in uh, D rather than R. The Proud Boys recorded a propaganda video from those marches and shared the video online. Some people on the street give the group the middle finger. Others look supportive, stopping to salute the American flag. Over the last few decades, in Northern County region in upstate New York has gone from moderate to more conservative. Most local, state, and federal officials are Republican. The flags and stickers that people put on display reflect that shift. Many fly the yellow Gadsden flag, bearing the "Don't Tread on Me," the very cool snake flag. Some hang Confederate battle flags from their homes and have displayed right-wing militia symbols like the Roman numeral 3 associated with the Three Percenters ideology, uh, or Punisher stickers. How many Punisher stickers do you see roaming around America? Lots. Uh, the song is okay. It's a music video was shot in front of a popular lynching spot. Exactly. Like they're hiding those things. I didn't even know that. It was a popular lynching spot. Great. I didn't know that. That makes it worse. Uh, this is NRA country. The NRA does not care about you, guy. FJB, meaning fuck Joe Biden. Many people are deeply devoted to Donald Trump here, and the flags and banners all over the region falsely claiming Trump won the 2020 election. He didn't. These people live on a different planet. They are completely unattached from reality. But they feel like this is the right thing to do. This is feeling. This guy right here has very strong feelings. Does anybody think this guy is operating off of facts and logic? No, he's not. He has never been operating off of facts and logic. If you asked him, he would tell you he is, though. He would tell you that the fact is that gay people are ruining society, and the fact that trans kids are killing people, and the fact that COVID doesn't harm you. He will tell you all kinds of facts, but they're not facts. They're just his feelings. Uh, you try to teach your friends about the right wing party because they are lying really, really often. You have to read their election program. Yeah, I've done a few videos about the Project 2025, which is happening here in America. Living in a fugue of hate, shrouding themselves in patriotism. Yeah, exactly. When fascism comes to our country, it will be wrapped in the American flag and holding the Bible. And that's what these guys are. They are wrapping themselves in the American flag, holding up the Bible, and pushing hate. That is all they've done. They have severe feelings, and those feelings are exacerbated and confirmed by Donald Trump. Let's see. Revealed far-right figures try to create a white nationalist haven in Kentucky. So very fun. Venture fund and real estate startup linked to far-right groups promote residential development as community for right-wingers. So they're trying to build their own little thing. Are conspiracy theories based on feelings? Yes. All politics is based on feelings. All of them. Mine, yours, everybody's politics are based on feelings, especially the conspiracy theorists. They feel like something is wrong, and they feel like someone needs to be in charge. They feel like that they haven't gotten what they wanted out of life, and it's someone's fault. And they go looking for whose fault that is, or the internet tells them whose fault it is, or YouTube leads them down a direction that makes them feel like this is someone's fault, and they recognize that, and they latch onto it. I was a conspiracy theorist for a very long time. as a young person. No Blacks Allowed community is also denies that racism is or can be systemic. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I was a conspiracy theorist for a very long time because I felt that it couldn't be true that the world that I felt like that someone was in charge. There wasn't anybody in charge. There's nobody in charge. That's the bad news. Uh, I felt like something had gone wrong, that the world was broken, something was incorrect about what was going on, and I needed to find out who was responsible for it, and I needed to find out what was going on. Um, and so I felt like something was fishy about 9/11. That's the one that pushed me really into the YouTube bubbles. When I was a kid, YouTube conspiracy theories were fun when I was young. I was born in the 80s, but conspiracy theories were fun. It was aliens, yeah, outside Area 51, Roswell crash, and you could watch documentaries. The History Channel, not the History Channel, it was the Discovery Channel back then. The Discovery Channel was Channel 14, and every once in a while you could go on there and see on a Saturday morning or something like that, they would talk about the scary flying black triangles that are outside Area 51 and stuff like that. And then they would have an aeronautical expert who would come on and say, "Oh, look at these giant black triangles. There's no possible way that could fly. That is anti-gravity technology." He's wrong. It was a stealth bomber, but that was fun. Um, but then after 9/11, the conspiracy stuff really took a turn towards the hatred, stuff like that. They started blaming Muslims for everything. Red dye number 4 makes your pee shrink. Yeah, that's a fun one. The green M&Ms make it bigger. Uh, conspiracy theory, liking my stream and becoming a subscriber makes your dick bigger. Conspiracy theory. You should look into that. You should test that scientifically. Uh, they definitely are based on fear. Fears about the future. So on like the world around you. It's bad that you have to think that there is some conspiracy have to be out there. Right. Exactly. Conspiracy theories were fun. You could just Google stuff. Um, yeah. Once you started Googling things, once YouTube really took over, they really turned a corner after 9/11. Where it was 2002, 2003. Um, YouTube comes up, you get the loose change. Was it loose change? I think it was a loose change or pocket change, something like that. Documentary about 9/11, and they just fill it with nonsense. And I believed it. I bought all of it, and I bought into all of it. I knew about the Denver airport, all kinds of fun stuff. Loose change was the 9/11 one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I watched that so many times, and I spread it to people back in 2003, 2004, stuff like that. And then I bought into it. I loved all of it, and I just loved it. I used to watch Alex Jones all the time. I watched his entire documentary about the Bohemian Grove. Like, I watched Alex Jones. He was great. I thought he was awesome. I thought he was a genius. Everything he was talking about, he does an entire. He sneaks into the Bohemian Grove. Mother of God, that was fantastic, dude. I watched that entire thing. I was gripped uh, by him, and Obama broke their brains. President Blackenstein broke their brains. And I was on several message boards and stuff like that for conspiracy theorists, and all of a sudden, this half black guy with a funny name that sounds Muslim started winning, and they just lost their shit. They absolutely went nuts, and it all most of the conspiracy websites and videos I was watching and paying attention to immediately just started hating on black people. They went from hey cool aliens, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster to hate black people, hate black people, hate black people. Hey, look at this black person who just did the crime. Hey, look at this black person who got off from a crime. Hey, look at this black person who killed somebody. Hey, look at this black person that stole something. And I was like, what is happening here? Um, and then they did the knockout game became the most important thing in the world. The knockout game. Um, if you don't know what that is, don't look it up. It's terrible. It's just racism. Uh, so I had to abandon them, and then I was kind of hanging on. I was hanging on until about 2012 when hey, do you remember? You guys remember what happened in 2012? Nothing. Zero. Nada. Nothing. And every conspiracy theorist completely was on board for 2012. They were all on board. The world ended. The the preppers were on board for 2012. The alien people were on board for 2012. The 9/11 truthers were on board for 2012. The political, the Jewish, the Zionists, the people who talk about the JQ all the time were saying 2012 is a thing. This crazy space alien people were on board for the Heaven's Gate type folks who say that there are aliens out there and they're controlling us, they're bringing us down, and we're all descendants from them and all this fun stuff. The Egyptians were all the Egyptian conspiracy theorists were on board for 2012, and nothing. Zero. Nada. And I was like, okay, well, everybody agreed. Everybody I listened to on a daily basis agreed for this thing, and it was wrong. Maybe I should step back and see, am I wrong about everything? And I was. And so I got better. Uh, a little kid asked me, what did you do before Google? Did you get told something and believed it without knowing the truth or what? And the kid laughed. I wasn't, because I wasn't sure exactly like that. Yeah, it was kind of like that. So, I have ranted for a while. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, uh, white supremacy. Great. So let's find out about this new little thing. A venture fund for a real estate startup, both with links to far-right organizations, are promoting a residential development in rural Kentucky as a haven for fellow right-wingers. The promoters have presented the planned development as aligned community. An aligned community. That's not a scary term, is it? We're an aligned community, if you understand what I'm saying. I'm going to need you to align with us. For right-wingers who want to disappear from the cultural insanity of the broader country. So they want to create their own little ethno-state. Spearhead the revival of their region. The revival of the region. They need to make it great again. The move was the latest effort from a far right to establish geographical enclaves following the footsteps of movements like the so-called American Redoubt, which encourages right-wingers to engage in political migration to areas in the interior of the Pacific Northwest. That's in Oregon. But underlying finances of land offering associated with the Highland Rim project in Kentucky suggest that the buyers will pay a steep premium for living in the remote ideological enclave. Well, the scheme's promoters are set to collect tiny profits after making a few apparent improvements of the land. You can tell by the location they're targeting poor whites. Yeah, absolutely. That's who they want. The development was announced on X, formerly Twitter. This is the full name. It's X, formerly known as Twitter. You have to say the whole thing. It's like a tribe called Quest or a pimp named Slickback. You have to say the whole thing. And in special edition, the new founding of Joshua Abatoy, who is directing the thing. Okay, so he says most of the leadership is going to be led by Protestant Christians. Oh, good. We love them, don't we? The aspiration is that long term down the road, 20 years from today, we continue to do this. We're regionally focused. We can expand from there to states. Oh, good. So they're just going to build racially homogenous enclaves. They're just going to build little ethno-states. What could possibly go wrong with building a bunch of ethno-states with hard borders that you defend with guns? They have the artist formerly known as Prince. Yeah, it's the website formerly known as Twitter. Our links allowed here. I would like to show you an English article about our little Nazi problem here. Yeah, if it doesn't allow you to post that link, feel free to put it into the Discord. And I'll take a look. Oh, I did a bad job. I put it in the wrong chat. Derp. There it is. If it doesn't allow you to post it there, feel free to toss it into the Discord, and I will give it a look. So that is what's going on. What else we got? Oh yeah, Kamala said something apparently terrible about Israel, and I haven't seen it. I don't know what she's going to tell us. I don't know what she's going to bring up, but let's take a look and see what she says, and then we can have feelings about it.
Say that one of your many strengths as a surrogate is your connection to young people. I believe that to be true. Now, voters between 18 and 29 years old stand out as disapproving of the way the Biden administration is handling the Israel-Hamas war. They do not support sending weapons and money to Israel. They are advocating for a humanitarian ceasefire. How does the administration respond to the concerns of this very important part of the Democratic voter base?
So let's start with this. And you're right, Sonny. In fact, in the fall, I embarked on what I called a college tour and met with over 15,000 students across the country. I just have to say I love Gen Z, by the way. I think it's a spectacular generation. And
Ugh. Ugh. Just pandering. Okay, we haven't said anything yet. Okay, just pander. Okay.
But all of that to say, you're absolutely right. I have talked with young people, many around the country, and I've heard them, I see them, and I understand. I understand. But I think it's important that while we understand where they're coming from, which I do, that we not lose sight of the context, which is, let's just go back to October 7th. We can't deny the significance of a vicious, brutal attack that caused the death of 1,200 innocent people, a lot of them young people who are just attending a concert.
Yeah.
Women.
October 7th was bad. Hamas shouldn't attack people. But at the same time, those Hamas people think that those Hamas people feel like they've been in 30 years of oppression. They feel like they're in a prison camp. They feel like they're trapped in a prison they can't leave. It's exactly what's going to happen. Zoe, I could throw it into the public stream links. There should be one channel there called public stream links. So go ahead and pop it in there. So yeah, she is ignoring that 30 years of oppression. She's avoiding talking about that because it's not pleasant, because it doesn't get the goal that she needs. So let's keep going. Maybe she'll get better. I doubt it. It's not going to get any better than this. She's only going to get worse.
Who were brutally assaulted and raped. And again, as someone who spent a lot of my career focused on those kinds of crimes, the horror of it. And all of that to also then say, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does matters. There have been far too many innocent Palestinians that have been killed. The president and I and many members of our administration have been very clear. I've been on over, I think, 14, 15 calls that the president has had with Bibi Netanyahu about what Israel must do to protect innocent civilians. We all want this to end as soon as possible. And how it ends matters.
Yeah.
Which includes that Israel must be secure, that there must be an equal measure of security for the Palestinians.
18,000 of them are dead. She cries about 1,300 Israeli deaths, but 18,000 Palestinians are dead, mostly children, like she just got upset about. Hamas is bad. The Israeli government is bad. And this is a bad guy fight. The Israeli government has put lots of innocent people into an open-air prison camp and wants them to die. Those people can either die quietly, try and leave the place that they live with no guarantee of coming back, and to go where? No one wants them. Or they can fight for their freedom. From their point of view, doing that terrorism is a freedom fighter. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. It's always been true, and it'll always be true. So yeah, it's not good. She is doing the very typical liberal line. She's doing the Democrat line. Israel has a right to defend itself. Yes, great, they have the right to defend themselves, but they're on an offensive war right now. They are. They're bombing somebody else's. They're bombing a city. They're taking the land, and they are not going to give it back. The places that they have bombed and they have taken, they are not going to give back. The people who have lost their homes will not be coming back. They never will. They are going to live in a smaller and smaller area. They're going to kill 18,000 of them now. They're going to kill more in the next few weeks, and they're going to kill more and more and more, and then they're going to shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink and shrink until they cease to exist. That's what's coming. and she's going to defend it by saying that it's Israel defending itself. You're not defending yourself if you're taking land. You're not. That's offense. Their borders have gotten bigger over time. That's not defense, it's offense. If you were this big, then you're this big, then you're this big, and then you're bigger and bigger, and you're taking more from the other people, you're not on defense. You're scoring points. You're not on defense. We've got a super cool link from Zoviak. I'm bringing it up right now. We'll take a look at it, see what it says. Why aren't the Arab ethno-states taking Palestinians in? Because Muslims don't just immediately love each other. There are as many different types of Arabs as there are every other religion. Protestants and Catholics are two different things. They're both Christian, but they're different. The Arab ethno-states taking Palestinians in because they don't like Palestinians. Just because they're both Muslims doesn't mean that they agree with each other. There are a dozen different sects. There are Wahhabists and Sunnis and Shiites, and they're all Muslims. They all hate each other as well. It's very similar to the Balkan states in in Europe, and the Eastern European stuff. There are lots of people who hate each other. Racism is not just an American thing. There are the Egyptians, who are the closest to Palestine, do not want these people coming in because they will eat up the resources, slow them down, and have to be taken care of because they have no place to be. They have no stuff. Irish Catholics were once seen as below blacks. Yeah, exactly. They were the Irish Catholics were called black. They were the Black Irish. It's very strange. You can hate people even if you're a part of the same religion. The Egyptians don't want all of these people coming into their country, so they're going to build a little bit of a fence, and the Palestinians who run south are just going to die in the desert. That's what they're going to do. They're not going to have any resources, not going to have any chance. The Egyptians won't take them in. They won't be able to go north to live in the place that they used to live, and it's bombed out, and they're not going to get resources, so they're going to stay in the desert, and they're going to die. Americans just couldn't tell the difference after a generation. Yeah, exactly. Um, there's no. Is there a solution for it? Possibly, but it would require diplomacy. It would require drawing some borders, giving them agency, giving them the ability to live somewhere peacefully. But Israel doesn't want that. They want more land. They want more of those Palestinians gone. And if the Palestinians are bred out, that's acceptable. If the Palestinians are bombed out, that's acceptable. If to them, I don't think this is a good idea. I think this is a genocide. I think it's an ethnic cleansing. They have drawn a line, and they want all of that ethnicity to leave those borders, either through walking out, through immigration out, or through body bags. I think both Israel and Palestine are not supportive of a two-state solution. No, they're not, because their politicians are idiots who are pushing their way or the highway. The Palestinian, if it were flopped, if it were flipped, and the Palestinians had all the power and the money, they would be doing the exact same thing to the Jewish Israelis. They would. They would do exactly the same. They're not better. They're just as evil. They're just as bad. If Palestine had American backing and American weapons and an Iron Dome, the Jewish people of Israel would be getting stomped on, and they would turn to terrorism to take back more land. You can swap the players and you'll get the same results. So yeah, don't hate the players, hate the game. It is a bad game. So what have we got here? I'm bringing up this link from you, Zoviak. We're going to take a look at it. It is giving me a grief about my ad blocker, so I got to turn my ad blocker off. One sec. I appreciate everybody who's here. Thanks for coming. If you've got links or anything like that, toss it into the Discord or try and link it. I might be able to link it. And we'll read ad-free with advertising and tracking. Sure. Okay. I got the right button. Oh, gosh. Get out of here, you. So, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, hit the follower button. You can turn a frog gay if you follow me. And It's very exciting. Go to the YouTube links and stuff like that. If you have ideas, post. If over the next week or so you find a new story that you want to look at and want to talk about, feel free to toss it into the Discord as well. I don't completely understand how Discord works, so just toss it in the general and I'll give it a look. There's not all that much traffic there anyway. Oops, I'm supposed to do that. There we go. There's the YouTube link of the stuff like that. You can go back in time and listen to me and Thomas argue about all kinds of fun things. Become a sub over there. So, what is this? This is the true proximity of Germany's AfD to neo-Nazis. Yeah. So that sounds like fun. Officially, the Alternative for Germany AfD party wants nothing to do with the organized right-wing extremists and neo-Nazis, but reporting by Der Spiegel sheds light on the connections that are deeper than those previously known. Yeah, secret Nazis, as usual. The organizers long kept the meeting location secret. The invitation vaguely stated only the region, the Neinberg-Weisser area. Pretty sussy name right off the bat. Just kidding. In the state of Lower Saxony, located between Hanover and Bremen, the guests arrived inconspicuously. Just over 50 people gathered in the Hofrhein farm with a restaurant and even center. Lower Saxony, February. Talk about the Wild 20s. Okay. It's a strategy meeting issued by the youth wing of the extreme right-wing Alternative for Germany. They don't sound like a good party. I'm immediately suspicious of that name. The Alternative for Germany. That doesn't sound good. Let's see. The deputy head of the Hesse state chapter and the JA, Dominic Esch, who likes to wear the Thor's hammer around his neck, a symbol of popular right-wing extremists, gave a lecture on metapolitics. The subject was how to occupy the pre-political space to shift the discourse to the right. Yeah, he wants to shift it to the right. Both the JA and the AfD have been speaking openly about this topic for years, while the sudden secrecy, because they're related to neo-Nazis, yeah. Let's see. Time and time again, the AfD and its youth wing have claimed that they want nothing to do with the neo-Nazism and right-wing extremism. Both are taking legal actions to try and prevent the Office for the Protection of the Constitution, the domestic intelligence agency responsible for monitoring extremism in Germany, from classifying them as confirmed right-wing extremists. Oh, so they fight the government power that suggests that they are, in fact, right-wing extremists. Publicly, the AfD tries to maintain a dividing line between itself and such organizations or parties. When the NPD campaigned in recent years for people to vote for the AfD so that it could get its issues into parliament, AfD leaders distanced themselves from it. The party tries to keep out even more extreme forces in what it calls the incompatibility list. Ooh, you don't want to be on the incompatibility list, folks. Bad time. Nobody wants that. But it sounds like they might need to be. I don't. What do we think about an incompatibility list? I recognize that Germany has these laws. They have very strict anti-Nazi laws. But I don't know how I feel about incompatibility lists. If there is a list, that immediately makes me nervous. Even if it's a list of terrible people, and here's the list of terrible people, that makes me nervous. Like, what if Donald Trump puts me on that list? I would not have a good time. I wouldn't appreciate it. What if politically somebody puts those lists? And that's why it's important to elect intelligent people. Don't elect Marjorie Taylor Greene. Don't elect Boebert. If you elect them, they will create a list and they'll just put the people they don't like on it. They'll just put every person who has ever argued with them. Maytag would put me on that list because I said she's a bad person and she shouldn't be taken seriously, and I make fun of her. Yeah, there is a definite Nazi problem happening all across the country, or all across the world. There is a lot of things that are pushing to the right now, and the only thing I can do is talk about it and vote left. When I do get the chance to vote, it's a very simple system. During the primaries, you vote for the person that's furthest to the left, and then during the general, you vote for the person that's furthest to the left. So yeah, that's my strategy. When I get my mail-in ballot that the right wing really hates, I will fill it out here live and on stream, I will get my mail-in ballot. I'll bring it right here and I'll fill it in. And we'll decide who I'm voting for. The furthest person to the left. Directions unclear. Uh, on the ballot, maybe. Okay, and that's all the news I had for today. You guys want to play a video game? Because that's what we do. We read the news and then we play a video game. Because it's fun. I'm going to turn the robot lady's voice back on so that you can tell us what you're thinking, tell us what you're feeling, tell us how we're doing. And wait, where did my thing? Oh, there it is. It's over on this screen. What's the right pushing for? They are pushing for cultural domination, with themselves at the head at the top of the pyramid. They want to. They have a pyramid-based
I am a
idealism.
green protest voter. We have 30 parties we can vote in government here and not a single one embodies my ideals, so I vote for the most lit.
The most little piece of shit. That's true. You vote for the person who's the least shitty, and that's kind of what I do. Generally, I think that the further left you are, the better. During the primaries, I vote for the person who's furthest to the left, and then during the general, I vote for the person who's furthest to the left, which was, this last time, Joe Biden. And assuming he's on the ballot this coming year, he will be much further to the left than Donald Trump, so I will vote for him as well. But yeah, the right wing has a pyramid shape theory on how the world works. You got your working poor down at the bottom, then you got your middle class, then you got your upper class, then you got your 1% and your two people on top. Your Donald Trumps are here at the top of the pyramid, and they generally, not always, but mostly kind of base that on ethnicity and race. They really do. And if this is why you hear the right wing people complain about somebody who played the race card or a woman who slept her way to the top. To
I
them,
was a Republican for a while thinking they were fiscally conservative, but after a while it just seems they're only pushing racism and xenophobia.
racism and xenophobia, right? Because if you are in the middle, if you are a cis, het, white, straight guy like me, and you're in the middle, and you see someone above you, you see a black person above you, your first thought is, well, they played the race card to get there. They're above me on this pyramid shape, and I'm supposed to be at the top of this pyramid, and that's not good. So they must have done something unfair. They must have cheated. They must have skipped some step or to get above me, because I'm clearly better than them. It's a bad ideology. It is not good. Right-wing ideology is bad, and generally is based on that pyramid structure. And if a woman is your boss, well, clearly she's slept her way to the top. Obviously, right? It couldn't be because she's smarter or better than you or has worked harder. It's because she traded her sexuality for benefits in the company. It's nonsense.
I would not say the right-wing people are like that. I would say extremists in general are like this, left-wing extremists as well. Extreme
Extreme communists are religious extremists and Muslim terrorists on the Christian Crusaders in the Bible. Yeah, and the
Anytime someone unnecessarily mentions an affirmative action hire, I roll my eyes so I hard to do a cartwheel.
Right, exactly. That is an issue that America has, is affirmative action. If somebody they call it affirmative action hire. So yeah, that's suggesting that they aren't worth the job and they're not good enough to have it. They only hired them because of the color of their skin so that we can fill a quota, and it's nonsense. It's bad ideologies, bad brain thinking, but the Republicans love it because that's what they like to do. That makes them feel good. It really does. It makes them feel like they haven't failed. If you've been told that a poor person who didn't get as much good stuff as you and has a lower starting point is above you, all of a sudden it makes you feel bad. This guy, Barack Hussein Obama, he started out very poor, and his father was an immigrant, and his mother was poor, and he's had no, advantages. I have way more advantages, way more privilege, yet he graduated from Harvard Law School? No, that can't be true. That can't be right. That makes me feel bad as the right-wing person. As a right-wing person, I feel like he doesn't quite deserve that. How did he do this? Did he work hard? No. Nah, I don't think it was an affirmative action into uh, Harvard. They have to take so many black people, or else they'll be canceled by the woke police. And because of that, he doesn't quite deserve the accolades he got. He graduated from Harvard, and he's a constitutional law professor, and he's the president for affirmative action. It is a ideology to make themselves feel better. The person who's complaining about affirmative action hires or the affirmative action president feels better when they say that. They feel like less of a failure when they say
I
those
would
things.
say one problem with American politics is your small government. You can choose between you or an NZ voter, or you vote for gay people.
That is an issue that comes up. Yeah, your small government. When you say small government, are you talking about the states? Because that's definitely true. We've all done the math, and we figured out that there's only two possible ways. The first past the post voting is an issue, that the person who gets 51% is the winner. So you have to choose whether you vote for the vegan or the red meat. There's no in between. That's your only choices, really, and that's why I don't like it. If there were only two restaurants in existence, straight vegetables or straight red meat, I would have a bad time. I wouldn't enjoy that. I would be like, man, why do we have to choose one or the other? Can we not have some stuff in the middle? Can we not have somebody building bridges to meet to the center? And that's kind of what we're left with. And the social issues you're talking about, yes.
By the way,
sure.
sorry for the harsh words, but I wanted to show my point as best as I can.
No, you're doing great. I appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for participating in the chat. It bumps me up in the algorithm. And then it shows my stream to more people, and the more people see it, and then it seems like it's alive. What's not fun is talking to yourself on a live stream when and nobody's in there. That's always very, very sad. It's tricky, but it's something I had to practice with. Yeah, because feelings. All politics are based on feelings. Even mine. I don't have a mathematical formula to prove that gay people should be able to get married. I don't. I don't have a scientific uh, I don't have a scientific law proving that we should have the right to vote. I don't. Rights aren't scientific. They're good, and I appreciate them, and I want everyone to have them, but I don't have a scientific method for determining them. We have to go on feelings. I feel like you have the right to vote. uh,
On the EU spectrum, the Democratic Party is right of center.
Yeah, it is a strange thing when you start
That's
hopping
true.
into other countries. Once you start hopping into other countries, it gets a little more complicated about those kinds of things. All right, what is that? That is there. Feel free to keep on chatting. I'm going to play a round or two of this game, and tell me what you're feeling. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what else is going on, and we will just feel all the politics together. Turn off the window capture, turn on the game capture, and then we go there and we click on the window. There? No? Yeah, there it is. All right, and then bring all the chats back up so as I can see them. And go here, and there we go. This is called Death Must Die. It's very exciting. Gonna go kill some bad guys. And opposite the pyramid structure that the right uses, the left generally points towards egalitarianism and equality and things being an even playing field. That is things that the people on the left talk about. Egalitarianism, equal playing field, level the playing field, make everybody start from the same, even if everybody doesn't start from the same place, you should try and let everybody start from the same place, which is very difficult. And you get your
tirelessly to create the most resplendent
hard right-wing people like Jordan Peterson or something like that, complaining about the, what does he call it? The equality of outcomes. The left would convince you that everybody has to get the same outcome, no matter how hard you work. Jordan Peterson's a bad guy who is very dumb, and he doesn't understand leftism, but he thinks he's smart, and you can't convince him otherwise. And because he says the right words, the things that people like, he gets to be famous, and he gets to go on TV, and he gets to talk about all the fun stuff that he does, which is kind of what I'm doing, but he's just better at it. Let's see. But then he convinces a whole ton of young right-wing men to move to the right. It's a pipeline. Right-wing pipeline. Very, very sad. Very unpleasant. And that's why I think it's fun to
As I
talk to
said,
Thomas.
we have a lot to choose here. Some examples: SPD left-wing centric, CDU right-wing centric, FDP the liberals, Grun the GR.
Yeah, and I assume that's because it's a more of a parliamentary system where you can have different parties and stuff like that. Because in America, while we still have some differences in the, I mean, the two parties are definitely different, but even within them, you have your hard right MAGA people, you have your centrist right-wing people, you have your senators who are just doing what they can to
I
not do any
blame
work.
Peterson's daughter. I call her beef breath. She's a real piece of work.
Yeah, she is. She is a giant pile of contradictions. You know, but she just has to be a giant pile of contradictions and make a lot of money. Move faster, there we go. She is not a good person and feeds off of her father's fame to get some money. She has her own YouTube type stuff. She does her own stuff to become famous. She does her own famous stuff, and then she dates fucking Andrew Tate, which is one of the worst human beings to ever exist. Brain of a 13-year-old, and he never grew up. That's a whole thing. And then she pushes those
Actually,
things.
we have three parties in power as a coalition: the Greens, the SPD, and the yellow SPD. Red and the Greens obviously are green. JFC.
That's a lot to keep up with, and it's probably a better system somewhat. I do like having more choices. Americans are a little lazy though, and we're very gamified and game-centric. We love the idea of the Reds versus the Blues. You know, we love American football. You know, and that's got two teams that have to oppose each other. And so we really like that idea.
Germany's democracy is being destroyed too.
Fancy scooch. Their democracy is being destroyed by what, the divisions? You might know more about it
I
than
too
me.
would go on a benzo binge if my daughter dated Andrew Tate.
Right, he did.
These
do
Nazis are so wild.
that. You're right. You need to take some. You have to have something to take the edge off. If but was Andrew Tate really having sex with her? I don't think he was. I think Andrew Tate is very, very gay.
The AFD guys are just vibing it.
The AFD guys are just vibing it. Okay. As in they feel like neo-Nazis, but they actually aren't, or they're trying to convince people that they are. They're secret crypto Nazis. That's also a thing. You're secretly pushing these ideas in your meetings, but not in the media. That wouldn't surprise me either.
They try to convince people that they aren't.
Right. They try and convince people that they're not. Yeah. So crypto. I don't like that idea at all. Politics only works if you're honest about it. what you're doing and what you're thinking and why you're
Like
doing
some days ago was discovered that they were meeting with open neo-Nazis.
it. Yeah, we discussed that a few minutes ago. We looked at a story that Soviak brought in, and it was very nice. Well, it wasn't nice. I'm glad he brought the story in and we looked at it and we had a good time looking at it, but it is a bad idea. I don't like Nazis. We should not let them be in charge. We should not let them be elected.
Talking about expelling all migrants and even people with citizenship.
Right, and that is the isolationism.
Have you tried the game Hades?
Hades? Yeah, I played Hades. It is a good one. I
The
beat it.
democratic system here is not the problem. The lack of anti-corruption laws are the problem. Corrupt politicians lack in trust. Dargo.
Yeah, it's true. The corrupt
Check out
politicians.
Waldo's videos. https www.youtubecom Waldo videos.
Interrupting robot lady.
Not even Trump is proposing these things.
Right, they're further to the right than he is. Yeah. Some of his fans, some of Trump's fans might want them, but as we discussed, they might be pushing for that kind of stuff in Kentucky as well. And so what do we have to do? We have to push left. We have to support the people on the left. We have to try and move people to the left. Chain lightning, yes. Love chain lightning.
TBF, these guys are real Nazis. He's just the class clown. Did
Yeah.
you see the video of Trump?
Which one? The one... There's a lot of videos of Trump. He's literally in front of a camera 19 hours a day.
Trump's deposition from earlier last year.
Yeah, where he claimed that he had saved us from nuclear holocaust of North Korea.
Accidental enter XD. At Soyvac, corruption is inherent to politica. Haha.
And corruption doesn't have to be inherent to politics. You can have uncorrupted politicians.
Politica.
Generally, they would have to be separated from money in the market, though.
Politics.
I think that money corrupts, for sure. And the capitalistic free market leads people to acquiring money for power, and that leads to politicians taking money so that they have money, and they have they will represent.
Here it's even shittier.
The people.
Canooch.
Canooch. Another first Canooch. It's been almost 2 hours before we had a Canooch. The robot lady can't say the words can't touch, so anytime you type can't touch, it says Canooch. Give it a shot. Watch as we become a Canooch stream. Yeah. Money is the easiest way. Show note.
Running for Congress, it's like investing in Amazon in 1999 financially talking.
Yeah, and it really is. You gotta get paid, you gotta get the money, you gotta get the financing, you gotta get the backing, and it's not a good system. Everybody wants money out of politics. Obviously, we all say that, but how do you do it? I think you have to create a law that says they can't take lobbyist money. They can't take. They can't own stocks. If you made it where they couldn't own stocks, a lot of them would just bow out of politics entirely because it's not valuable anymore.
The SCOTUS messed up big with lobby ISM and super PACs.
They sure did. The Citizens United was a severe mistake. But that gets them more money, so that's why they accepted it. In a capitalistic society, the politicians will always be very interested in money. So we have to separate them from capitalism somehow. The Supreme Court used to be separate from capitalism, slightly, because they were lifetime appointed, but now they just ignore that stuff. And what's his name? The Supreme Court guy, Justice Thomas, just has best friends who buy him really expensive shit, and he does what they tell him. That used to not be the case. They used to really not like that, but we backslid, you know.
They get RVs and jet travel.
Yep, they get all kinds of nice stuff. And he takes advantage of his position to benefit himself. Did I have that much junk? Uh, yeah, he takes advantage of his position to enrich himself, and it's harming us.
SCOTUS has long abandoned the idea that rights are negative and every right that could be given through interpreting the Constitution shall be G.
That rights are negative and every right that could be given through the interpretation of the Constitution shall be given. At this point, they're just waiting for another Trump presidency. Yeah, I kind of think they are. I'm not sure what you're going about to negative rights. Are you're talking the difference between like positive freedom and negative freedom, which is a complicated subject, but yeah, I think they're waiting for another Trump presidency who will just tell them what they can and can't do, and it's gonna go badly, I think.
You can have politicians who are not corrupt. I would enact some laws like one, if a politician is found to be corrupt or extremist, he or she. 3. Make all politicians' finances public by law. All accounts and cash receipts, party donations from companies are banned, and lobbyists must.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. That is all very good ideas. That will lower the amount of corruption. Corruption is a tricky thing because somebody will find a way. Someone, even if all of your ideas were in there, Zodiac, they would still find a way to sneak it around. But the more hurdles you put in that system.
Negative rights are the rights that exist unless someone acts to negate them, like abortion or assisted suicide.
I see. Okay. Because nothing says that you can't. The Constitution doesn't expressly say you cannot do that thing, so it is a negative right. Not that it is a bad thing, but yeah, you're right. You get into a difficulty where the Constitution doesn't say you're allowed to do the thing, so it's implied that you are allowed. It's a difficult situation to be in, and it's even that explanation that you gave and that I'm talking about is hard to fathom, and it's hard to explain to people.
It's like security, the hurdles need to be many and difficult to sidestep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly, they were usually upheld by citing the Equal Protection Clause of 14th Amendment.
Right. And that's complicated stuff, and you know who doesn't understand those things? Normies. The normal, average, middle-of-the-road American doesn't know what the damn hell you're talking about, fancy scooch. They don't know it. They can't comprehend it. They don't care. It's all boring. Have you ever talked to politics about a person who isn't like super political? Their eyes kind of glaze
in
over.
Law, so I gotta know these things.
Yeah, you're a major in law.
Also, SCOTUS apparently.
The SCOTUS doesn't understand these things either. Maybe Shinsento's right.
Law school costs too much, though.
Justice Thomas is just dozing off and eyes glazed over, thinking about boobies instead of the complicated law things that are in front of him. Yeah, it's entirely possible. I could see that happening. Law school is too expensive. I agree.
Yay, no, my bro Thomas is having too much fun and vacation to think about this.
Yeah, he is. He's having a good time. Here I am, arguing about negative freedoms, and he's out skiing or something.
Why stress about freedom if you can just take money?
It's a good question.
Well, I am a security in a gambling hall, and I think I could rule the country better for the people like those idiots who actually are in Poe.
Entirely possible that normal people could do a better job, but I don't doubt that you could have a better chance. But once you get in power, somebody will offer you money, and then it's always the worry. I mean, I don't think that I would be corrupted, but no one's ever offered me millions of dollars. I assume that I would say no, but until it's happened, we can't really know. We can assume that we base ourselves off of a good moral framework and things like that, and I don't think that I would be tempted by it.
I am a libertarian. My shot in governing would still be the same as Nikki Haley.
Yeah, libertarians are a thing. I think it's complicated. They have
I have the same point.
Yeah, the old joke was that libertarians are just Republicans who want to smoke pot. That's might be an old accusation, but that used to be the thing. Regenerate life, yes. But now
We're just so divided.
now there's so many libertarians and complicated people who
I think I
call
cannot
themselves
be corrupted, but it is really hard to tell you until it really happens.
Exactly.
There is Goldwater-like people. Almost socialists.
Yeah. The libertarians are a complicated bunch, and it depends on which group you belong to, and then they each have their own ideas.
And classical right libertarians.
Classical right libertarians, which are just Republicans, if you ask me.
And it's incredible how even Goldwater people are disgusted by Trump.
Right.
A lot of people call themselves libertarian, they just want to spew hate speech without consequences.
And there's the issue. There's your Rand Pauls and your Ron Pauls. Your Ron Paul is a little bit more acceptable, but I mean Rand Paul I think is just a Republican, you know. Rand
At
Paul and Ron
iPoker
Paul.
Face I talk about actual Libertarian Party members.
Yeah, Ron Paul said he was a libertarian, and he ran a couple of
Not
ideas.
GOP members that like to hate on blacks.
Yeah, and he has this idea that if you allow people to do something wrong, they won't, even if it is wrong. So it's kind of an explanation. If it's against the law to put up a sign that says "No black people allowed in my store," that's against the law. According to certain libertarian sects, that shouldn't be against the law. You should be allowed to do it.
People, I guess the whole world is disgusted by Trump as he got in power. The whole country thought you guys oversee are nuts. Yay, Ron Paul is a bit of a Goldwater.
Right, and he suggests that it should be legal for you to put that sign up that says "No black people allowed in my store," and that we should all just
He's not a
choose
defense hawk like Goldwater
not
was.
to go there. We should all just choose not to go there, and that store will become immediately out of business because no one will go there. He's wrong. There will be people that go there. There will be people that want to go there. There will be people that defend it and think that it's a great place. And I think that's usually my issue.
That's how sabotage works.
I don't know too much about Goldwater, honestly. I've heard his name a couple of times. I've seen a couple of the things he's talked about and stuff like that, but I've not studied him.
But it's just crazy doing this like in Mississippi.
Right. There are people who would go to that store with that sign up in Mississippi who would love it and talk about how great it is and defend the right. And they would make enough money, and then people
will just go.
People will just go. Yep, exactly.
By the way, I think it is really funny that you choose to play a game after there was only few traffic in chat, and now when you are playing the...
It's true. Chat goes through. Well, that's part of the fun. That's what I want to do is like have you guys get the robot lady and we'll have a conversation, and I can play a game while I'm doing this, and it'll be fun.
By the way, Ron Paul was saying the same that Goldwater said in 1964 in the midst of the segregation debate.
Right, and I think, yeah, that's a wild stance to have. And then we'll trick some normies to coming in. See, this is how you do it. You trick a few normies. You play a video game. It looks all fun and exciting, but then we talk about Bear Goldwater.
Maybe a turn-based game when chat is popping off.
Well, that's the fun, is how well can I do at this game, which requires intense focus while arguing about the benefits of Bear Goldwater versus Ron Paul.
I would have still voted him in 2012, though the SCOTUS wouldn't have let him do that anyway.
And we'll trick some normies to coming in here and learning a few things. How about that? You gotta trick the normies into being political. Obama did it. He tricked a whole bunch of normal people into paying attention to the news. The Iraq War did it in 2003. Tricked a whole bunch of people, normal people, into watching the news.
My guy Ron Paul even run for us in 1988.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more okay with Ron Paul. His son, though, is a freaking loser who I don't like at all. Who's just a Republican.
Check out Waldo's videos https www.youtubecom Waldo videos. How dare you make me learn a thing cancelled, Canooch. Rand Paul, it's just there to be insulted by Trump.
Yeah, it's true. I made you learn a thing. How
If
uh,
Trump
I
runs out
tricked
of
you.
people to insult, there is still Rand Paul.
It's true.
Also heavy, the leader of the CDU party-centric right, quoted Joseph Goebbels, who was the propaganda minister of the weird Austrian who messed tea.
Oh,
Rand is
good.
so disappointing. Ron is planning on turning over in his grave.
I didn't think he was still alive. I didn't think he died. Ron Paul didn't die, did he? Did he? I just hadn't noticed. Yeah, Rand Paul, the fake doctor. He,
That's why Ron is planning while still alive.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Rand Paul, the fake doctor. He is a board-certified ophthalmologist, but the board
At
that
I
certified
Poker
him.
Face, imagine raising your child as a libertarian and then turning out Rand Paul.
So yeah, he's a board-certified ophthalmologist, but the board has certified exactly one person, just him. And the members of the board, there are 3 members of the board, himself,
I'd
his
fucking
wife,
kill myself.
and his father-in-law. Those are the only people on the board, and they've certified one person, just him. So he pencil whipped his way into being a doctor. Yeah, very free market of ideas of him to do so. I'll just create a fake board. I'll have that board have the ability to make people a doctor. I'll make myself a doctor, and then I'll shut it down, and I'll call myself a doctor forever. How dare you regulate
At
me?
least Ben Carson was a real doctor.
Yeah, he was a real doctor, and he's
No
also a
one said I
moron.
couldn't.
No one said I couldn't. Yeah, it's a negative freedom. Uh, the, the Constitution does not stop me from creating a bunch of fake doctors.
A good one at that.
So yeah, that is what we have to deal with. And so yeah, we maybe we tricked some people into watching.
I try to raise my child as an open-minded, centric, like live and let other people live how they want to.
That's an idea. How dare you? Sounds like communism. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so yeah, uh, that is the Saturday stream. I
Hell,
am about to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody who was here. Thank you
if
guys
I
for
was a
coming in.
SCOTUS judge, I'd vote for making it legal to just proclaim to be a doctor. NGL.
You can claim claim bankruptcy. You can do that too. Zoviak, you just turned a frog gay. I hope you're happy. Um, are you proud of yourself for turning that frog gay? I appreciate everybody who was here. Thanks for coming in. If Fancy Scooch also turned a frog gay today. You just did it. One more frog every day. Another frog, another
I
gay.
wanted to be a gay frog too.
You turned one gay. Congratulations. So yeah, today that was the
I am
Saturday
really
stream.
proud of it, L. I declare bankruptcy. I just declared it.
You declared bankruptcy. You can also declare yourself a doctor. I don't see why not. This is.
I came in late.
Oh, Popog, yeah, you're late. Usually I do about 2 hours or so on the Saturdays, maybe more depending on
Exactly.
how things are going. I have some housework to do. I have to clean and do stuff and scrape the basement, put away Christmas stuff and all kinds of junk.
I didn't say it, I declared it.
Right, you declared it. You declared yourself
I
a doctor.
declare myself God, and as such I am immune to law.
You guys
Good
are
luck with your housework.
on a roll. Yeah, you can just declare stuff. So that is the Saturday stream. I will be back on Monday night at about 7 p.m. We'll go over the headlines just like today. We'll look at the headlines. Anything that you put into the Discord, we will look at and take a look at. So if between now and Monday, if you come across another really cool story that you want to talk about and you want to mention on the thing, put it in the Discord right there.
Discord. HTTPS Discord GG Beignet Tritix 8.
Put it there. I'll take a look at it. I'll bring it up. We'll look at anything you post in there. Then we'll
Well,
play
I don't
another game.
believe in God,
Try
so
and sneak some
basically
people.
Francie, you doesn't exist, L.
Oh no, now we don't believe in Francie Scooch. Well, he's declared it. But I declare myself an atheist, so you don't exist anymore, Francie Scooch? This is complicated. This is getting into some very meta ethics. We'll have to pick it up
At
later,
Zoivac, Francie believes in you.
though. So yeah, so now we have an entire. Oh gosh, now we're gonna have to come up with like an ethical system, and we're gonna have to come up with different religious sects within this chat. Everybody has to choose a side, and then we'll do a holy jihad against the people we don't like. That could get me some numbers, I suppose. That could get me more followers. That sounds good. uh, I really appreciate everybody. Thanks for being here. I'll be back on Monday.
JFC Law.
Toss any links in there, and we'll talk about them on Monday. And when the politics picks up, as we get into American election season, we'll get more stories, we'll get more stuff, we'll watch it all together, and we'll feel it together, and we'll do some live streams when real things happen. Thomas will maybe be here this week. I don't think he's available on Mondays, but maybe on Wednesday. So I stream on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Monday night at 7, Wednesday night at 7, and Saturday morning at 10. This is all Pacific Standard Time because I live on the West Coast, Best Coast. And that is the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Goodbye.